We're doing day 2 of ellipses. So just again, we talked about this in our warm-up, but horizontal and vertical ellipses. My horizontal ellipse equation is x minus h squared over a squared plus y minus k squared over b squared equals 1. And my vertical ellipse is x minus h squared over b squared plus y minus k squared over a squared equals 1. Okay, those are my 2 equations. It's nice to have them written down like this and be able to pull this out for your homework. So I strongly suggest writing it again, especially if you can't find your notes from yesterday. Okay, A is the distance from the center of the vertices, the major axis. Remember, major axis means just the longer one. B is the distance from the center of the covertices to the covertices. This is the minor axis. And the foci you find by doing c squared equals a squared minus b squared. Okay, remember that's not Pythagorean theorem. And A always has to be bigger than B. Okay, now we're going to take these graphs and we're going to write all this information from them. Okay, so I'm going to do the equation probably last so I can do the other parts first. Okay, so my center, what's my center of this oval right here or this ellipse? 0, 0. Okay, pretty easy. Okay, now remember your vertices are on the longer end, so I'm looking for these points right here. Okay, if we're looking at this one right here, this is 6, 0, agreed? So the other one should be good. Okay, my co-vertices are these smaller points right here. So they would be, I'm going to go 0, and then 0. Good. Okay, now I just have to find the foci, or the focus points. And so I'm going to use this by using this formula right up here. So I'm going to go c squared equals a squared minus b squared. So that's c squared equals, and my a is 6, so I need to do 36. Minus my b is 4, so I'm going to do 16, right? I just squared them and put them in there. Everybody good so far? Okay, so I get c squared equals 20. So c is approximately 4.47. Okay, so that means 4.470. So right, 1, 2, 3, 4, right there. And negative 4.470. Right there. Okay, now we're going to do the equation. So I know I'm going to have something that looks like this, and that this is going to equal 1. What goes on top of this? Do I have anything added or subtracted? I just have a center of 0, 0, right? So that means what is going to go on top? I don't have anything for h, so I'm just going to put x squared, right? And then a squared goes on the bottom. Well, my a right here is 6, so 6 squared is 36. What goes on the top here? Y. Make sure you have it squared. And so what goes on the bottom? 16. Good. That was the quietest 16 ever. I almost didn't. Okay. How about we just do one more on the front here, and then we move to the back. Okay, let's do number 2 because instead of being a horizontal ellipse, we're having a vertical ellipse. Okay, so just want to make sure we do the switch part of it that we need to do. All right, what's the center of this one, guys? 0, 0. What are the vertices? So it has to be the major axis, so it has to be going straight up and down. So my vertices are 0, what? What is this point? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Is it 7? And so the other one is 0, negative 7. Are we confused or are we okay? All right. What about for my co-vertices? This is 3, 0, and negative 3, 0. So far, so good? Focus points, remember I'm going to do c squared equals a squared minus b squared. So I'm going to go c squared equals a squared is 49, b squared is 9, so c squared equals 40, so c is approximately 6.32. 0, 6.32, and 0, negative 6.32. Okay? Now I'm going to do my equation. Okay? So remember, we've got 0, 0 still, so we've got x and y on the top, nothing being added or subtracted. And then on the bottom, remember, my x goes with my smaller one. If we look at co-vertices, see how the x number goes first? That means that has to go there. So 3 squared is 9. And then 7 squared is 49. Questions about that? Okay, now the next one is not 0, 0 as a center. We can do that one or we can flip to the back. What do you guys want to do? Want to flip to the back? All right. So this talks about our different steps right up here at the top. This is why I really like these notes because they're already written in here. Find the center, HK. Use the midpoint formula with the vertices or co-vertices to do it. Use the vertices to find A. Use the co-vertices to find B. If you're given the focus points, use this formula to find the missing parts. Okay. Determine the direction of the ellipse to write the equation. Okay, if it's horizontal or vertical. Okay, we're given vertices and co-vertices. We need to find our center. Just by looking at this equation, can you guys tell me what my center is? Without doing any math at all. What's the y value for vertices? What's the x value for co-vertices? That's the center, 0, 0, because otherwise they would have other numbers. If you have those zeros in place, that's your center. Okay? Which one's bigger, 5 or 2? 2 is bigger than 5? Or 5 is bigger than 2? 5 is bigger, right? So that is going to be, that is going to be my A. So A equals 5, so A squared equals 25. So what's B, guys? If A was 5, B is 2, yeah. So B squared is 4. Okay. So the x values are bigger and they're along the vertices. So this must be a horizontal ellipse. Okay? Which means you're going to use that equation x minus h squared over a squared plus y minus k squared over b squared equals 1. Horizontal, remember A comes first, then B. Vertical, B comes first, then A. Okay? So we know the center is 0, so we just go x squared over 25 plus y squared over 4 equals 1. And that's it. I'm finished. Okay? Do you want to do one that easy, or do you want to do another one where we have to have the center be something other than 0, 0? Something, because the next one is easier, is just as easy, it's just vertical instead of horizontal. So let's do one where it's harder. So we have my vertices are negative 5 and 1, and 1 and 1, and negative 2 and 3, and negative 2 and negative 1. This makes it harder when we don't have 0, 0 as our center. So the first thing we're going to have to do is use the midpoint formula. You can use either the top as the midpoint or the bottom as the midpoint. Now remember, midpoint is just adding the x's. So we're going to go negative 5 plus 1 divided by 2, and 1 plus 1 divided by 2. Okay? That's the midpoint formula. And that means that my center is going to be negative 5 plus 1 is negative 4 divided by 2 is negative 2. 1 plus 1 is 2, divided by 2 is 1. Gives us our center just like that. Okay? All right. Now we've got to find A and B. A and B. Okay. -2 plus what gives me -5? -2 plus what gives me -5? -3. So that's the same thing as 3 because we're talking about the absolute value of it. And then a squared would be what? What's 3 times 3, guys? 9. Okay. 1, 2, 3 is how much? 1 plus what gives me 3? 2. So for the y value or for the b, I'm looking at the covertices. So that's 2. Then b squared equals 4. Then we're just going to make that equation. X plus 2 squared over 9 plus y minus 1 squared over 4 equals 1. How did I know to put A there? These vertices are farther apart, so I knew it was horizontal. Should have probably figured that one out first. All right. Do you want another vertices and co-vertices one like this? Or do you want a vertices and a foci one? The foci one? Or the focus point one? Okay. Let's look at number 8. First of all, let's figure out if this is vertical or horizontal. Are the y values the same here? Yeah. So if the focus and the vertices y values are the same, it's horizontal. If the x values were the same, it'd be vertical. So we know it's horizontal. So we'll keep that to ourselves. Now we're going to take the vertices and find the midpoint to find the center. So I'm going to take 0 plus -10 divided by 2, and then 6 plus 6 divided by 2. 0 plus -10 is -10 divided by 2 gives us a -5. 6 plus 6 is 12 divided by 2 is 6. So that's my center. Okay. My A value is going to be my vertices distance. Okay. So that means it's going to be 5. -5 to -10 is 5. So A squared gives us 25. Okay. Now, we can find C, we just can't find B. Because in C, from -5 to -8 is 3, or from -5 to -2 is 3. And C squared gives me 9. So now I have to plug it in a little bit differently to that weird equation. You know, we've got C squared equals A squared minus B squared. We're going to plug in A squared and C squared. So we're going to go 9 equals 25 minus B squared. We're going to subtract 25 from both sides. We get -16 equals B squared, negative B squared. We're going to divide by -1, and we get 16 equals B squared. Then we're going to square root both sides. B equals 4. So B squared equals 16. So we're going to go X plus 5 squared over 25 plus Y minus 6 squared over 16 equals 1. And right here, that's our final answer, our equation. Do you want another one like that, or do you want to see how to do it with covertices? Do you want another example like this, or do you want to move on to the next type of problem? Next one? Okay. Covertices. Covertices is showing us that it's changing in the x, and those have to be, covertices are smaller, so this has to be vertical. Because you see the 12s, they're changing in the y. So now I want to find my center, and to do that I'm going to go 5 plus -5 divided by 2, and 0 plus 0 divided by 2. That's going to give me 0, 0 is my center. Oh, that's nice. Okay? Now, I know my b is 5, because the distance between 0 to 5 is 5. So b squared is 25. So far, so good? Any questions about this so far? There's a lot of steps for this one, so I want to make sure you're good. Found my center by using the midpoint. Then found the distance from my center to the co-vertices was my b. Now my c, the distance from 0 to 12 is 12. So c squared is 144. Once I have b squared and c squared, I need to find a squared, right? So then I'm going to stick it back in this formula. C squared equals a squared minus b squared. So I'm going to get 144 equals a squared minus 25. I'm going to add 25 to each side. And I'm going to get a squared equals 169. So then I'm going to do my center right here. Okay, with my a's and b's underneath. So I've got x squared. My b is smaller. My x's were smaller, so I'm going to put 25 here. And then I've got y squared, and my a's were larger, so I'm going to put 169 down here. Okay, so I've given you an example of like one from each problem for what you're going to have for your homework for tonight. So I would get started on that now, since you've got a decent amount of time, and I am going to stop this recording. But please let me know if you have any